We are at the 40th AIDS Vigil here in Toronto, and we are going to talk to some of the attendees today. So, what's actually happening here? Why don't you introduce yourself and then tell us what your thoughts are about tonight?
Oh, okay. Well, hello. Here, let me take off my sunglasses. Hi, I'm Max McDonald, and tonight is the Toronto AIDS Vigil. This AIDS Vigil has been going on for the last 40 years, and it started off way back in the 90s. And forgive me if I got it wrong, but it was 90s, late 80s. And so it started off that there was just a group of people who, in the height of AIDS, wanted to remember the people who were dying almost daily. And there's a whole generation that does not remember that there were people. AIDS was not something that was that was not a curable disease back in the 80s and in the 90s. So a group of men got together, and lesbians and the community, to basically honor people who had passed, not only of AIDS, but of AIDS-related complications and things like that. And then it's basically turned into what it is today.
And so, you have lost friends, I'm sure, like we all have lost friends of HIV and AIDS. What is the thing that you saw at the beginning of the epidemic that was needed immediately that the community did not get?
You can answer that one.
It's healthcare, special support. A lot of people, as I know, committed suicide because there was no support in the community. There was no health care. They were just finding out, and there was nothing doctors or anything could do for them. And they were just like, okay, that's it. Bye at the door. See you later.
And then they discovered this drug called AZT. AZT was one of the most potent, dangerous drugs given to HIV patients in the world. And then suddenly they stopped giving it to them when people were dying faster who had HIV and AIDS. Then they went on, they developed a cocktail, and now people are living longer and stronger and thriving more now than any other time in the history of the disease.
Okay. Now, for you, sir, what was the most hurtful thing you can remember about losing some of your friends? What was the thing that impacted you the most?
Well, I was here 30 years ago tonight when adding the name of the first grade love of my life, who died earlier in 1994, and it was astounding to me that the experiences that I never expected to have until much later in life, were happening when I was in, my 20s, and I guess what was very tragic was it was probably months before the advent of the cocktail therapies that were the first glimmer of hope in a raging worldwide pandemic, and I've had time to milestone anniversary reflect on what life might have been, not just for my guy, but for all the thousands of names that are on the memorial here and memorials all over the world. And I'm glad there's a better understanding. I'm glad there's more effective health care. I think there are parts of the world, sadly, where what we have in Canada certainly is not yet available, and there's for the stigma that still, I think, exists in Canada and in the United States. I think in other parts of the world it's astronomically worse than people have it here, and I think that's the ongoing tragedy of this pandemic.
Okay, wonderful. Now, what do you think, with the advancement of lots of therapies, lots of programs, are we doing better or worse? Or could we be doing much better?
Certain communities are doing better. But I will say this, the community that is being left behind are Native and Black women. Because Black women are going and they're sleeping with men and having no idea that these guys that have HIV and AIDS, or they have an STD or something like that. They are contracting it, and then they are bringing it back home, and they are giving birth to babies with HIV. They're having children with HIV, and we are raising now a generation of people who are Native, Black, Latino, who give birth to kids who have HIV, and that is one of the biggest problems that we are having now. Is we have to, as a community, have to acknowledge that there is a new generation that was born with AIDS.
Wonderful. Thank you.